Okay, so here we are. I've got all of my front part of my haunted house taped down. As you can see, I came around the side here and taped down because remember we're gonna make a strip here to come all the way up to the top to cover this because we're also going to have to when we're all done bring some interior paper around to hold this together. So, but this is what we have so far, and we're going to take that transparency now, okay, and we're going to decide where we want to cut. You don't need a whole lot inside there. You're going to kind of, I like to do it this way first so I can kind of see a little bit easier with the white where that's going to sit, except of course it's going to be flipped the other way. But I definitely wanted to get the bottom of that cauldron in and some of the steam coming out and as much of the witch in as I could. So I just kind of looked at that and kind of held it in place and flipped it back over and saw that, okay, I didn't have a whole lot of room over here, but remember, it's going to be this way. So I'm going to want to bring that pretty much to the edge there and make sure, I know I'm not going to get the witch's feet in, but that's all right, and make sure that that's about where I want it, flipping it over and just kind of making sure that that's about where I want it. And that's about it. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors right now and just cut up around that, giving myself a little, as much room over here as I can. So here we are. We're seeing where we want it. And actually, that looks pretty good. I think I like where that's going to lay. I think I'm liking where that's going to be. I'm going to have plenty of room for the candle to come up and light up the cauldron. And I'm pretty much liking that. So I'm going to go ahead and put down some score tape on the very edges. And I had a little sticky left over, so that it actually kind of helped getting that, so I had something to stick it down. But I'm just going to put the score tape as close to the edge as I can without putting it on the edge because I don't want any of that to show from the front. So there we have it. And actually, I'm going to just take off one side at a time, and I'm going to start on that side that I know I didn't have a whole lot of playroom on. Well, come on there. I usually don't have any trouble getting the score tape paper backing off, except when you're on camera and you're trying to get it done. There we go. So I'm going to make sure I have this side lined up where I want it before I take off my other pieces. So I'm looking just to make sure that that's exactly where I want it. Over this way just a little bit more. And then I will go ahead and set down that one side. And then I can do the other pieces and put it all into place. And remember, now this is, people aren't going to be seeing this part of your piece unless they're looking real close when they're bringing the mini album out. So, you know, you have a little bit of leeway here. But basically, that's then what it's going to look like. And now our next step will be to cover this, get the inside all covered. The only part I don't cover on the inside is this bottom section because it gets a little difficult when you're trying to put it together, and you don't want to have this too thick when you're trying to cut out your placement for the candle in the bottom. So you need to decide what papers you want to put on the interior. I decided on some orange for the inside, and I'm going to use that really cool orange, looks like wallpaper here. I wanted something nice and bright on the interior, so I'm just going to get a couple pieces of this and set that aside. And what we're going to do here is kind of exactly what we did on the front, except we're going to, when we cut out this section, we're going to actually make sure we are right within this area here. So as we put this here, and you're going to do it on the opposite side because it's going to be facing this way, okay? What I like to do is, and we don't need any fold over. Remember, we did that on the front, folding over to the back. So we don't need any fold over on this side to cover the edges. We're going to be pretty much right up against all the edges. So I just made sure I was right where I wanted to be. And with my finger, I just sort of, and you can, or you could use a bone folder, you know, whatever. You can use the end of a paintbrush, but you want to feel where that edge is here, and kind of make your it's almost like you're doing a embossing of this center section. Okay, so you're going to emboss that center section like that, and then you're also going to just kind of give yourself a nice feel as to where the edges are. Okay, and really, I don't know what I did with my bone folder, which is driving me crazy. I haven't been able to find it for a couple of days. So just using my fingers here, I'm getting the idea of where the edges are to the house. Okay. But I also, and I don't know if you can see that, but you can actually just go ahead then and cut along your emboss lines. Because again, this is going to be on the inside. So, we have that much. We know that's going to fit nicely right inside here. Okay? See how, let me get this better in frame. But see how nicely, I mean, just feeling your edges, it's really gonna fit well within your piece here. So then all we need to do is, once again, use our craft knife and make a nice little X here. And if you want to cut the whole thing out with your craft knife, go ahead. I'm just not that good. I like to use my scissors. So let me go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in just a second.